Welcome to WhiskyAce.com. This is Jillian, the Ace of Hearts, joining you poolside from Orlando, Florida, with your whiskey news for the week of July 31st. We're going to start out with a whiskey company that's near and dear to my heart, one of the first whiskeys I ever tried, and it comes from Grant's. Grant's, as we all know, has made an impact in the whiskey world, and now they're making their mark on the literary world as well. Pop Shop reported this week that Grant's, an official publishing house, have penned Grant's, the Book of Great Discoveries. Marketing manager for Grant's, Rowan Liebrand, has explained that, like Grant's, the inventions in the book are simple, obvious, yet essential. The first 10 stories are available now at grantsbooks.ru. And in addition to reading about the books, the inventions on the site, like the cufflinks, users can customize their experience, choosing their own wallpaper, voting for their favorite invention, and submitting their own inventions. The full version of the book will be available in September, with only 350 copies being produced. Now, most of those books are going to go out to the media, but of course we here at Whisky Ace will be keeping our eyes and ears open to hopefully get our hands on a copy or two. Earlier this month, Chivas Whisky launched its new packaging, which told viewers how to read a bottle of whiskey. And now some other redesigns are in the works for Ballantine's and William Grant & Sons. They're also releasing new looks. Ballantine bottles, their new bottles will reflect their renewed sponsorship with the Barclays Scottish Open. The Drum reports that the new bottles have been designed by Nude Designs in London. The new packaging has already launched in the Asia duty-free market and will reach the Korean marketplace later on in August, with a full rollout happening later on this year. William Grant is also in the middle of a bottle redesign. The Herald Scotland reports that Glasstrom Studio has teamed up with them. They specialize in handcraft glass, and they'll be supplying collector's editions for the 50-year-old bottle of Glenfiddich. Only 450 unique bottles will be made, and they'll be released 50 bottles a year over the next 8 years. They say right now that the bottles will sell for approximately £10,000 a bottle. Quite an expensive collector's edition, but well worth it, I'm sure. England Whisky Company is recovering this week after a fire came close to destroying stores of their whiskey. This Express reports that the corner of the workshop in England's only distillery caught fire after 4 p.m. on Monday. Firefighters were able to put out the flames and evacuate all of the people in the building. The distillery released a statement on their website later on saying, as you may have heard in the press, we have had a fire at the distillery, but not a serious fire, or fortunately one that has done much damage to anything of value. Most importantly, all of the whiskey is safe. And last week, WhiskyAce.com reported about Towser, Glentorp's former distillery cat and current world record holder for the most mice caught during a cat's lifetime. This week, 2 other distillery cats are being commemorated. A press release from McLaughlin Gibson Communications reports that the new sign outside of Tobermory Distillery on the Isle of Mull will now feature both the distillery and 2 of the island's most famous characters, their distillery cats. The sign shows the Bay of Tobermory, including the distillery, painted by Stuart O'Donnell, who was a local artist there. Stuart decided to add the cats because of their cheeky antics on the island. Apparently those antics create quite a stir with both locals and visitors. Stuart said, quote, "The sign is instantly recognizable as Tobermory Bay. The cats are always strutting around, so we wanted to paint them as a wee joke for the locals, and it's now turned into a challenge for visitors to the island who want to spot the cats in the sign." And finally today, again last week we had reported a review on Auchentoshan. I invite anyone to please message in and let me know how to pronounce that, but Auchentoshan whiskey. This week, Mike Keeler, the chief executive of Morrison Bowmore Distillers, reported that they're looking into building a microbrewery. Yes, a microbrewery to make beer. According to the Herald Scotland, Keeler intends to request a Glasgow-based brewery when he meets with their parent company, Suntory, later on this year. Keeler says that while other ventures will take priority over the new distillery, or the new microbrewery, he sees a microbrewery in the future. He hopes that the expansion will capitalize on the new boom in craft beer. In the meantime, the distillery will be releasing 200 bottles of 98 Auchentoshan single malts, a special edition aged in fennel sherry casks, and that will be happening later on this year. And that's all that's happening in the world of whiskey this week. If you have stories for next week's edition, we invite you to send them along to whiskyace@hotmail.com. And you can view all of our other stories, cocktail recipes, and reviews at whiskyace.com or on YouTube under Whisky Ace 1. I'm off for a swim now, and I'll see you all next week on whiskyace.com. Bye-bye!